What's going on, everybody? We are back for another amazing episode of Finding Your Niche with Niche. I am your host, Nisha, and today, y'all, I got a history maker in the building. I am super excited to introduce Santia, also known as Trackbaby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
History
me.
making professional women's football player.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations on that title.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations on being a history maker.
Thank you. I
That's
appreciate it.
so exciting.
Thank you.
So let's actually talk about a little bit about where it all started. You're from Houston.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, Houston on the map. Do y'all have like a certain thing y'all say that's like only Houston natives would know?
We have a lot.
Like what?
Hold it down.
Hold it down?
I mean, it's a lot. We're just going to say hold it
Okay, we're
down.
going to say hold it down.
Yeah.
But when would you say that? In what occasion?
Like if somebody's like, all right, I'll see you later. I'll be like, okay, cool, hold it down.
Hold it
And
down.
then keep moving.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say that at the end of the episode. I'm going to be like, all right, Cynthia, hold it down.
Okay.
And we're going to sign out like that. But no, that's so cool. But right now, okay, so you're in Atlanta, really making waves in the industry, on social media, making noise, as what I just said as the intro, the professional female football player that you are, okay? So can you talk a little bit about, to me, where you realize that moment where it's like, oh yeah, it's lit, everything is official, like my whole life is about to change. Like, walk me through that moment.
So I had actually gone through a depression prior to like learning about the news of me playing football. I was training for the 2020 Olympics, and I was on a route to hopefully make the Olympic team for rugby. Unfortunately, I had burnt myself out because I was super new to the sport. I was trying to learn really fast. And at that time, when I first joined rugby, my coach was like, yo, you just need to go on the road to the Olympics. Like, you got it. You just got to learn the technique, the skills. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, that's been my dream since I was like 6.
Yeah.
And so, like, pretty much I literally traveled around the world. I went to Fiji. I went to New Zealand. I went to Australia.
Wait, time out. So that's a lot of our dreams, to be in the Olympics, but like,
yeah.
very, like, it's very rare that it's realized.
Yeah.
So that's, wow. Okay, go ahead.
So
that's
it was
crazy.
a lot happening at that time. So pretty much, I traveled on the road. I was trying to learn the skills really quickly. But my mistake was I was coming back from like one place. I didn't take any downtime. I'll go right into practice, right into training, and like eventually started catching up. And I was also nursing like a small little injury that eventually started becoming worse because I wasn't listening to my doctor.
Yeah.
Like he literally said, "Look, I'm gonna need you to sit down. Like, don't go anywhere. Rest." I said, "Okay, cool." And the next week I was in New Zealand. So like to athletes, listen to your doctor, okay? Let me say that.
Okay, you heard it here first.
Yeah, so I ended up burning out when I finally got the chance to get in front of the Olympic coach, and I had the worst ride of my life. Like, I literally looked like I wasn't even an athlete. That's how bad it was.
For real?
But my doctor said prior, like, your body is like literally shutting down, like you're burning out. So if you keep going, you're gonna shut down. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I didn't listen. So it shut down at the tryout.
Oh my
And I remember calling my mom, crying. I was like, Mom, I don't know, I can't breathe. I don't know what's happening. And of course, she was freaking out because I was in like Arkansas at that time, so she couldn't get to me or nothing. So it was just bad. Like I was, Wow. So anyways, I got the call like a week later that I didn't make the team. I fell into a depression because I spent that whole entire year, like a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of my time. I lost relationships, friends, because I was so focused. And so like, I don't think people realize like when you have that one moment and it's completely out of your control, you can't do nothing about it. And it's taken away from you that quick, it's traumatizing.
Yeah,
so like
sure.
I just didn't know how to handle it. My mom was like, every day trying to just get me to, keep moving, keep moving forward or whatever. And one day she just said, Santia, you're gonna have to like either like you're gonna lay here and die, you're gonna get up and keep fighting. There's a reason why this didn't happen, give it to God. So that night I prayed, and I remember I just cried my eyes out, and I just said, God, I don't know who I am, I don't know what's next for me, but clearly you got something bigger and better. And I let it go. And the next morning I felt like the weight of the world was lifted off me.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, I got a call from the owner of that league, and she literally made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. And it's a lot more to the story to how she even got into the picture, but all in all, that's how it happened.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you hear the offer. It's a big number.
It was. Definitely was.
Okay, so when you first hear the number, do you play it cool? Or you like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Nah.
Like, were you? Did you show? First of all, can you say the number?
Nah.
You can't say the number. Is it over like? It's over $1 million.
Maybe.
Okay, so it's a big number. But are you like on the phone showing your excitement? Like, yes, where do I sign? Or is
so
it like,
how it even happened was the owner had been watching me apparently since I was in college, like as a trainer.
Okay.
And she called my mom while I was actually training for the Olympics, but my mom was like, she can't even entertain football because she's training for the Olympics. So that was that. And she was like, okay, I respect that. Okay. Cool. Let me know if anything changes. So obviously she heard that I didn't make the team. And so I was at the movie theaters with my friend at that time. And my mom, she called my mom because my mom's a manager.
Yeah.
And so my mom kept blowing me up. I'm like, why is my mom blowing my phone up? Like, she know I'm at the movies or whatever.
Funny.
And so finally I was like, you know what, let me take this call. So I stepped out and she was like, Santia, I need you to sit down. I was like,
oh my
what?
God.
I was like, Mom, you scared me. She was like, nah, sit down. I was like, okay, whatever. So I sat down and she was like, so Lupe offered this.
Wow.
And I remember I just was screaming. All I could do was scream. And my friend was like, did somebody die? I was like, nah, my life is literally like about to change overnight.
Oh my God.
And so then it was.
And you remember it like it was yesterday?
Yeah, I remember every detail. I remember what I was wearing, all that stuff. I was just like, man, like.
Oh my gosh.
And other people don't understand, like, my story of like athleticism isn't like I was just always good. Like, I worked. I used to go to school early, stay after late, put in extra practices, and I used to always get so close to like getting that championship or making that team, and then injury. So I've been like super injury prone all my life. So to get to this point, even though it took me going through like my 20s, I was just like, okay, God.
Yeah.
It was worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't give up. I didn't stop. So. Yeah.
I don't want to speed past it, this aspect of what you kind of explained, because I think it's important. And I think it's something that's like, it doesn't always necessarily go away. It kind of still kind of knocks at the door. But you talked about kind of your battle with depression. Can you kind of explain, when you say depression, because it comes in many shapes and forms, what does depression look like for Santia?
So, if we're being transparent, so I actually just probably, I would say maybe like 4 or 5 months ago got out of another version because of injury. So like that depression, like pretty much I guess being injured and not making it, I was sleeping a lot. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I just wanted to stay in the dark room.
You didn't want to eat?
Exactly. And I eat a lot.
I know.
I eat a lot. So that's how you know
she's the queen of abs and the queen of food.
No, for real though. So, but and I'm a foodie, so like so that, and I was just like, I literally just felt like I was just in a dark hole, like.
But how do you know? Like, okay, so this is not something I deal with. So I'm always like interested in learning about it. So it's kind of like, how long does it take you to learn, to know, or to realize rather? How long does it take you to realize, oh, I'm depressed, before you start to actually see the signs?
Honestly, I was like experiencing all of that for like 2 months.
Okay.
So like it wasn't getting better, and I had no motivation to do, like, I'm a workout fiend. I didn't want to work out.
Wow.
I didn't want to do anything, and eventually I was like, Mom, I think because I never dealt with depression until that point. And I was like, I think I'm depressed. And she was like, yeah, like, you laying around here, you're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then, eventually, like, I realized, like, okay, this is like some form of depression. It wasn't severe, like,
Yeah, but still.
But for me, like, never having to deal with that, it was like scary, because I was like, I literally, everything, I'm tired all the time, I'm frustrated, I'm irritated, like, everything is bothering me. I feel like the weight of the world is on my back. And, I realized at that point, like, okay, this is going on for a minute. So this is, I guess, considered depression. So, yeah.
Well, that's so good, though, that you at least have a support team and people to kind of, like, be there for you and kind of hold you accountable for getting better. Okay, so back to this amazing revelation. You realize that you're going to be in is it the WFLA? WFLA, so Women's Football National.
So Women's Football League Association.
A league association. Okay, cool. Okay, so you realize that's super exciting. And then the pandemic happens.
Yeah. So let's get into that.
That's crazy. Like, what is, I really am fascinated with your story, and I'm like so excited to talk to you, because it's just like every time you get to this peak,
That's like the story.
So, like literally, that's your story. It's like excitement,
Man, yeah, that's the story
obstacle,
of my life.
excitement, obstacle, excitement. So okay, so you're about to officially like you got this gigantic contract. You're about to live out your dream,
Exactly.
and pandemic.
Yeah, so the pandemic hit. Everything, of course, was shut down. I think everybody in the league was upset because it's like, man, we all been training for this. And I just was like, well, just got to train. I got more time to prepare pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then 2021 came. The league was still, for whatever reason, it kept being pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And just to be transparent again, the league no longer exists. So I actually played for, I played for before I got injured, the WNFC.
Okay.
And I played for the Atlanta Phoenix. So let me just say this too, so people can stop asking me. The contract did not obviously go into like play because I didn't touch the field in sports. The only way you get your money is if when you touch the field. When you touch the field and you fulfill your contract, then that's when you get your money. So I didn't unfortunately get that money. It sucked. But you know,
but to still know your value,
but
the contribution that you brought would bring to the team
100%,
is insane.
100%. And I took advantage of like that time period, and I utilized it. You know, like, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't do. Like when you get opportunities, you just sit on it. And I went in right into action. Like, I mean, when you have that type of opportunity, you gotta take advantage of it. So.
Yeah, and I think there's a bigger narrative too around how much actual emphasis is put on female sports, female football, tackle football in general. What opportunities are afforded to you. So, how does it feel to actually, or have you ever dealt with the idea of the feelings associated with loving a sport that doesn't love you back?
Yeah, I feel like every female that plays a sport on a high level feels that way. And me having a twin brother and seeing how he was afforded all these opportunities, he got exposure, his coaches invested in him, and he had like ex MLB players, NFL players come in and tell them exactly like this is what I did to get here. I never, even in college, had that opportunity. Like no woman professional athlete ever came and said, hey, when you go to college, you're a woman, close your legs. You know what I'm saying? Like when you gonna gain a little bit, you gonna get that freshman 5. Like avoid this, avoid that. Like nobody told us that. So like I had to figure it out. And luckily I had a good support system, my mom, you know, whatever. But most women don't get that opportunity to really be shaped the way that they need to really be successful. And then when you do go pro, especially in like football, you paying to play. Like you're not even being paid anything, so you really have to hustle when it comes to like endorsements and sponsorship deals. And even, let's be honest, the WNBA, like they're still not getting paid what they're worth. You know, there's a situation just occurred because of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's almost like we have like, what is the point of dreaming sometimes? Like I think about that, like what is the point of being a little girl to dream about being this athlete when I can never in reality be able to take care of my family unless I'm hustling to get sponsorships and endorsements because they're not paying us enough.
Yeah, I think that's a weird juxtaposition to kind of be in, where it's like, I love my sport. I live, think, eat, breathe my sport, but it's not being reciprocated. That's very difficult to navigate. Like, how do you? I'm just like, how do you
keep going?
Yes.
You know what? One of my coaches, when I played LFL football, he said something that stuck with me, and I've been literally using that ever since. He said, even though you're going to gain a lot from being an athlete, you get the, just exposure, you get the friendships, the sisterhood, whatever it may be. But he said, but you got to remember, like, don't let the sport use you, use the sport, because the sport going to use you anyway, regardless. And ever since then, I was like, that makes sense. And he actually started talking to us about sponsorships and endorsement deals. And that's when I realized, like, yo, I got to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
I got a platform that most people don't have.
Yeah.
So I need to utilize it while I'm still playing and relevant, because people retire and then it's like, who am I? What do I do? I'm going to go coach, Pee Wee football or go coach whatever, this recreational team. And that's all they have.
Sure.
But when you are like, okay, cool, I'm on TV every Sunday, every Saturday, whatever you're doing, I have this big platform, I have these people that are looking at me every week, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure that I'm utilizing that and bringing in income because of that.
Yep.
Like, they're using me anyway. They put me on whatever, their websites. They're using me for commercials, for this, for that. They're bringing in all this money for themselves. So why am I not doing the same?
Mm-hmm. But do you think this system is too? Do you think this system and the culture is too matured to where like nothing can be done? Do you think, like, if you were to identify a factor or a variable that will literally change the game, is that identifiable, or do you think it's too far gone? It's too far in.
Nah. Some things can always be changed and perfected and made to be better. And I think, and I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again, and it might be controversial to some people. I used to always say, why don't the higher ups, meaning the men, why don't they do more for us? How come they just don't let us do this and do that so that we can bring in money or get more viewership or whatever it may be so that we can have more money? But then I started to realize, and I kept hearing it, but I was so I guess irritated by it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in it, you can't see.
Yep.
But I had to take a step out, because I used to always say, guys would be like, well, y'all don't even support each other, so why y'all expect us to support you? And I'd be like, what, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll get mad about it. But then I was like, you right though.
That's real.
Nobody comes to our, like, most females don't be coming to our games. Most females don't go. I'm gonna be real.
Where do you think the disconnect is, though? Like, what is it?
It's just being the gender that we are. We don't grow up watching sports most of the time.
That's true.
We don't grow up going to football games. We don't grow up in that type of like system that little boys do. Like from the time they 2 and 3, they're
already playing catch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're playing with Barbies. We're doing like feminine stuff. So I think that's definitely one of the disconnects, which unfortunately, I'm not even unfortunately, that's just life. Like, we are women. Mm-hmm. But if we're going to complain about something, we got to make sure that we're doing our part. Meaning, like, okay, I know I'm going to go to this NFL game.
Yeah.
Because I want to go see Odell Beckham or whoever I think is attractive, because that's what women do. Just like men do the same thing.
Facts.
But we got to do the same thing when it comes to, like, just not like that, but we have to do the same thing for our own. Meaning, like, okay, we know there's WNBA games going on this weekend. Let's make sure we show up. Mm-hmm. We know that there is a softball game. Let's show up, because we're going to be at the MLB game, even though they trash. So it's like, what I'm saying?
Is there a conversation, though, or would you agree or disagree to the idea that people say female sports are less entertaining? Have you ever heard that before?
Of course I have.
Okay, so do you agree or disagree with that?
I definitely disagree, because you have to be realistic. We aren't guys, so we're not going to be jumping over the basketball goals. We're not going to be dunking, and there are some women that are dunking right now, by the way. But we are what we are. Like, we're only going to be able to achieve a certain level of like athleticism. And to me, like, if you actually come and watch us play, it's more entertaining. We have more grit. We don't cry as much. We don't, like, I'm sorry, but watching basketball and these boys just be falling everywhere, and I'm just like, really? But if you go and watch WNBA, they don't be doing all that.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like we have so much to prove all the time that we work harder. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just what I feel. I feel like we work harder, we go harder, and unfortunately, we're just not rewarded for it.
Yeah, that part has to change. But when I hear you hear you talk about rather working hard, here you are, upwards of 1 million followers, like. I literally admire you so much for your grind and for your hustle, and for you to have the capacity and the agility to literally figure out, okay, how can I still make the most of what I have? Like you said, how can I use my voice, use my platform, and help to essentially create a living for yourself? Yeah. And so I would say the queen of abs, also queen of like social media. Like, did you ever see that coming?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. You know what? I started social media in 2012.
Okay. So were you on MySpace?
I was. I was on every platform, to be honest.
For real? Were you on Black Planet?
Yes. You know what? I tried to find my Black Planet like I think it was like 6 years ago, and I saw it, and I was so embarrassed.
Oh my god, you did find it though?
I found it. Yeah, it was, but it was a 7 years ago.
Do you remember like your?
I ain't gonna tell you, cause no. Look. That's not.
Shout out to Black Planet. She said I ain't that girl no more. That's so funny. So you already knew like from the beginning.
So yeah, so I got on in 2012. Obviously, that's when Instagram just started.
Okay.
And I was just on there like everybody else, doing a selfie, duck lips or whatever. And then I started posting my track and field workouts in college, and I was posting my workouts, and I was doing crazy stuff. Like,
yeah.
And eventually, like, people started like reposting it, sharing it, and I was like gaining followers. And then I used to follow this one girl, and I wish I remember her name, because girl, you changed my life.
Hey.
Like, I gotta say that. But anyways, she used to always be posting like things like shirts,
like reposting you.
No, shirts, shoes, like makeup, and I'm like, and one day I was like, "Are you getting paid for this?" And she was like, "Yeah, girl, like I be getting paid like $100, and I like $100 is a lot for me in college."
Yes.
And so I was like, "How? Tell me." She was like, "This is what I did." And so she said, "All you gotta do is grow your followers. I'll help you." We used to do shout out for shout out every day. Like if I wasn't in class, or if I wasn't at practice, I was doing shout outs. I was like doing everything she told me to do to gain followers, and it worked. And I got my first little deal, and I got a free shirt from Hawaii.
Okay,
from Hawaiian company, and I never forget it because I was so proud of myself. And then when that happened, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is up. Like this is what I'm gonna do for a living."
Yeah.
And I kept going.
Wow.
That's the best way. Like being like someone that I was actually struggling in college, like you know, you broke in college.
Yeah.
And like being able to get anything free was like a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I was already a hustler naturally because I come from an entrepreneur household. But seeing like my hard work pay off and I actually got something in return, that lit a fire in me.
Yes.
And my mom believed in me. My mom was like, "Okay, I see what you're doing," but my family, everybody else was like, "Get a job. When you gonna get a job? Like what?
Posting.
What?" And I kept saying, "It's gonna pop. It's gonna pop. It's gonna pop." And when it did, it did.
Wow. So let's talk about the content first of all, because I think that's a big factor. It's like, okay, you're posting, but it's like, okay, what are you posting? You're posting yourself pushing vehicles. So that's not normal. Yeah. So first of all, when did you know that you were a unicorn? And second of all, like, how did you know? Like, how did you know? Because that's the thing. So there's a psychological element when you post, right? So I kind of want to explore that. I want to ask you, like, when did you know you were a unicorn? Yeah. And then I want you to kind of touch on the psychological element of, like, when something gets a lot of likes versus, like, dang, I was not expecting that. Yeah. That whole concept.
So unicorn on social media?
Yes. Like, the stuff that you're posting is just, like, how is she... She's literally, like, how is she doing this stuff? You're a beast.
I mean, that's how I started. Like, I would do workouts that not even 1% of the world could really do for real. Like, because I was just a crazy person. Like, I like to do crazy things. And I was a tomboy, so I was doing stuff that, like, a lot of girls didn't do because I had brothers. Like, I grew up with boys.
Yep.
So I was in a gym just doing these weird things that, like, people were like, why are you posting this? Like, it's not even possible. But it started to hit. And I was like, people like to see unique things. And so, like, I just kept doing it. And I started getting posted on these media outlets and everything. I went viral. And no, I didn't go viral. I just got a lot of attention. Yeah. But then what changed everything for me was when I graduated and I started playing football. Okay. And I was just posting because I post everything. Like, I post all the things that I do. And I posted, like, this one video clip of me, like, shaking this girl. And it went. Like, it hit. Like,
where is this girl? How is she? Have you heard from her? Cricket?
It's a story. Look, I'm going to just say it's a story, and...
Go look at the content.
You deserve it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, period.
Anyways, you can cut that out. Don't say that. I'm just playing. Like, I don't want to be that person. Anyways, but she do deserve it for real. But anyways, so I shook her, and that video, I think, has 28 million views now.
Oh, like, my goodness. YouTube.
And I became that football girl. I went from being Trackbaby, because I ran track, to being football girl, football, whatever. And ever since then, like, that's how I got the Olympic opportunity. That's how I have a shoe company. I work with Nike, Adidas.
All over a
Under Armour, all over.
Somebody getting
football.
shook.
It's not even tackle, it's flag football. Yeah.
Dang.
And everybody just wanted that content because it's like,
okay, so what does that do to your ego?
These questions, man. I mean, I'm a very humble person, so, like, nothing.
Really? Okay, so let me ask it a different way. were you able to the shake, the way you shook her? Did it did it resonate with you the way that it did with everybody else? Could you understand the
Why?
reception?
Nah,
Like, did you think to yourself too, like, oh yeah, I did that?
it was anger behind that shake.
Okay.
So like, I wanted that. I'm not gonna say I wanted the whole world to see her get shook, but like, she used to bully me when I was in football when I first started. And every time she would line up, she would be like, "Oh, I already know what she's finna do. She's gonna do the same move." And she would be just like, on the line. I'm a running back. I'm a receiver too. And like, I didn't play football. She used to always say I was scared. And so she came to that was tackle football. So when she came to my turf flag, I was like, oh yeah, like it's over with. Like, I'm about to shake the fuck out of you. And so like, I was ready. That's all I could say. I was ready.
You was
so
ready.
Like, it had to happen the way it happened. Like,
I heard Oprah define luck as when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like, and
came,
somebody was recording it.
That's what I'm saying.
That part.
That's what I'm saying. So it was meant to be, technically.
Oh my God.
But I'm sorry that you got probably, a lot of people tagging you all the time. But that's all I'm gonna say. The past is the past.
The past is the past. It is what it is. Okay, so fast forward. Now, okay, you have good days, you have bad days, but now you have these followers. You have these brands. You're an ambassador of these different people. Mm-hmm. You're still going through life.
Yeah.
How do you still like, hey guys, buy this shake, like even on the days that you don't?
Oof, man.
How do you do that? Because I don't know if I could do that. Like,
yeah.
Oof, I don't know, because there's still contractual things that like you still have to post. You still have to. Yeah. There's a whole thing behind it. It's not just like post content. It's like it's very robust system. So it's like, how do you keep the energy to uphold your commitments with social media posting?
What I would say is like, I wholeheartedly like love social media. I love Instagram because of what it's giving me. I would be lying if I said every day I woke up excited to post, because like, like influencer burnout is a real thing. Yeah. Influencer depression is a real thing. Mm-hmm. Especially with this algorithm, yeah. But anyways, I would say like how I keep doing it is because it's how I make a living, first of all, but also I feel like this is my legacy. Yeah. Like, I created a shoe company from Instagram, through Instagram. I'm doing all these things that I'm doing and creating generational wealth for my future kids and family through social media. Mm-hmm. So I owe it to myself. I owe it to the people that support me to keep giving them what they're asking for. Keep being myself on a as much as I possibly can, even on the back. Like nowadays, and I'm gonna be honest, like I used to only post good stuff, like when I'm happy and I'm excited, I'm blah blah blah. But I started posting real moments, like of me with my injury and me going through depression and me doing all this other stuff and blah blah blah, because I feel like I can't sit here and say like I'm giving you like all of me and I'm being authentic all the time if I'm only showing you the highlights. Right. So like now I don't care. Y'all saw that video I posted with me falling at the hotel. Yes. Yo, that shit went viral and I'm embarrassed. Like, but I'm like, that's real. Like I really fell and busted my ass. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna show me looking cute and doing my Baywatch run and then I'm over here falling and busting my ass.
Yeah.
Like, so
and I feel like that resonates with people. Yeah. And you know what? I feel like people are smarter than we give them. Okay. I feel like people know this world now. They know the influencer world. They know what's real. They know what's not real. So I think you opening a space within yourself and in your brand to kind of have this transparency and vulnerability, I think it's respected and it's very well received, and people like hearing that from you. Yeah. So congratulations and kudos to like doing that. Definitely keep doing that. Also, we can't she just mentioned it. I'm so excited to talk about this. So we already talked about her being a history maker, first of all, for getting, offered the biggest contract in professional female football. But let's talk about these shoes, okay? So Trona, so you're doing your thing on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Can you take me back or walk me through the moment where you're like, light bulb, I want to be the very first female athlete to own my own shoe line? Where were you? How did this come? Walk me through it.
It's a long story, so I'm gonna try to make it as quick as possible. Okay. But pretty much it was an opportunity that turned into an opportunity, because I was a brand ambassador for another shoe company at that time, and I was selling the mess out of their shoes, selling them. Mm-hmm. And one day the designer, he actually DM'd me and was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about your own signature line?" under us. And I was like, oh, I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. I mean, if you're like a 90s baby, like I was a Jordan fan, Allen Iverson fan. So I think we all went on shoe back then.
Did you do the Fila's?
I did.
Reeboks too? K-Swiss?
I did all that. I loved everything. Oh my God. I was just
and Forces, of course.
Yes.
Okay. High tops or low tops or mid tops?
Both.
Which ones?
My favorite was the 13s.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Those are my favorite too. Yeah. I got those in red and black.
Cute. They just cute.
They are cute.
But yeah, so like pretty much so I was like, yeah, why not? And so he said, okay, what would you want your shoe to look like? And I was like, I love Jordans and I love the Balenciaga high tops, like the little sneakers.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I want something like a mixture of that, but I want it to be loud. I want it to represent me, be unique. And then he sketched it up and he got it in the first try. Like what I was thinking, he literally put on paper like the first try.
Wow.
Like we made maybe a few tweaks, but that was it. And he was like, I was like, oh wow. And so I posted it just to see like, you know, if people gonna like it or not. It went crazy on Instagram. And so it was like, okay, cool. So like, let's do a whole line, not just one shoe.
Yes.
Let's get colors in here. And we did the colors, and then I posted it on LinkedIn, and it went viral.
Okay.
So after that, I was like, okay. Like,
this is what the people want. Yeah.
Then my mom came in, and she was like, okay, let's do market research. Let's make sure that we can actually pull this off before we start trying to think about a shoe company. Because she said, let's do a company. And I was like, Mom, no. And then she was like, okay, let's do the research first.
Yeah.
So we did all the, you know, our due diligence, made sure that I had sneakerheads follow me, made sure my analytics is right. Make sure I understood the household income of everybody that I followed, male to female ratio, shoe size. You know, I did all. We did some real research.
Yeah.
And so like after that, we was like, okay. And so I was still scared because I'm like, Mom, we gotta go get Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. And she was like, Santia, you can do it. We did the research. We know you can do it. You have the following. My mom thinks I can fly. Let me just say that. So she literally thinks I can fly. So she is always going to push me.
I love that.
And so I prayed on it. She said, go pray on it. I did. And I remember that night, I felt like I could hear God saying, like, look, you can create this shoe company. And if it fails, you can at least say, I tried to create a shoe company, which is still pretty cool.
Yes.
It's still unique.
Yes.
Or if it doesn't, you're going to solidify generational wealth.
Wow.
You're going to be opening up doors for all these other little girls and little boys that might want to get into this industry, but don't see nobody that look like them. And you're going to just be able to honestly change the game. And that sounded better. So I took that leap of faith and...
Okay, so but then how did you know to extract yourself from this company and then start your own?
Well, that's a story too.
Because that's a play. So first of all, shout out to your mom. Like, I know y'all know Kris Jenner, but
my mom is
the momager. Like, are you? First of all, are you like a juniorette? Do y'all have the same name?
No.
What is this?
Her name is Cynthia, but mine is
Cynthia. Okay. I'm like, I thought one time I heard her say Santia too. I'm
People
like, whoa.
always say it. I'm like, nah, her name's Cynthia. But my mom is like Kris
She's
Jenner.
amazing.
Yeah. So like, she worked that out. Like,
she had the foresight.
Yeah, she worked that out. She worked out all of the legal stuff and you know, my mom is like the business behind everything. So that's her thing, but we figured it out.
Wow.
But let me tell you this, it wasn't like we did this in like a few months. This was like pretty much a 2.5 year process.
Oh wow.
To get to 2020 to where we launched. So it wasn't like it happened overnight. And there was times where we both was like, this shit's trash. I don't want to do this no more. But we kept going. That's all I can say. Like we really perseverance is the name of the game. Like you can't give up even when it's like I don't see no like because we've been in like 2020. We first were trying to put these on the market. Like everything that could ever go wrong in business happened, and like there was days we both just like crying like, oh my God, like how did we get here? Like we put all this in and this is what's gonna ruin everything. This little thing, even though it wasn't little. But, like, we was dealing with, like, supply chain issues. We was dealing with the ports being clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the stuff that happened in 2020. And it was rough. Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, it was really rough. Like, trying to get to just launch and getting people their product. Because it was delays. It was people being mad because there was delays. Even though it was a pandemic, which you would think was like, duh, it's the pandemic. But people didn't care.
Yep.
And then us being a black-owned company, like, you know, when you black-owned and you have one issue, the whole world's going to blow it up.
Yep.
So, like, we had people trying to, like, put us on a Better Business Bureau. And I'm like, bro, like, Nike not to be getting y'all shit right now. So why y'all tripping on, like, us when y'all know we're doing, like, Let me tell you what we did. We did Zoom calls with people.
Like real people?
Yeah, like to get our customers to say like this is we literally was like taking them every day step by step on what's happening. So you knew what was going on, but we still had people that wanted to tear us down, wanted to try to, like hate and all that stuff. And I'm like, Nike's not doing this. Nike's not telling y'all that y'all not getting y'all stuff for a year.
Yep.
Nike's not telling y'all none of it. We're taking the time out.
Facts.
We're doing Zoom calls. We're sending text messages. We're calling, leaving voicemails. We're talking to y'all on the phone. Like, I'm talking to you and I'm the owner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we put a lot into our customers. And it was just like, it kind of hurt to be real in the beginning, because it's like, yo, we're doing all this and y'all still complaining. But I understood because they're customers, but like we really tried to be transparent. But all in all, in the end, it worked out. Like we literally got everybody their stuff for the most part.
Wow.
Right before the deadline, before like Chinese New Year happened.
Yeah.
Because if we would have missed that mark, they wouldn't have got their stuff at all. And like our manufacturer, everybody was pushing to get our stuff. So I think everybody that really like was rooting for us, because without y'all's prayer, without like just the support, we wouldn't be here, because if they wouldn't have got their shit for Christmas, it was done.
It was over.
So like
it was over. Y'all had a small window of opportunity to really prove yourself.
Yes.
And you came up.
Yeah.
In such a way, you are now in the biggest Champs store, which is like top 5, and it's not 5 shoe stores. Like, first of all, congratulations. Like, that's huge.
Thank you.
Like, that means so much. Like, but is there a pinch me moment? Like, have you, and this is history obviously, but have you had the moment where it's really like unequivocal and it's like you fully understand this has never been done? Have you had that moment yet?
I don't know, because I'm like one of those people that like keep their head down. Like, I just keep going.
Okay.
Like, I for sure, I think definitely like when we got the shoes out in 2020.
Yeah. Like when you see them in person.
Yeah, like, and then seeing people in real life wearing the shoes like that.
Yeah.
Like in the airport or just out and about, and I'm like, oh wow, that's us.
Yeah.
Like, I think those moments like make it super real for me. But yeah, man, I just feel like God is just, I don't know, man. God is my best friend.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like He's like always showing me like what could be. So when it happens, it's like, okay, God, you was right. But I don't know, like, I'm just grateful. That's all I can say. Like, I have so much gratitude about how we got here and where we're at.
Yeah.
That every moment, every day is like, oh wow, like I'm here. To be honest. But as like far as like me, my first time was like when we got them out. And then people were sending in like their little videos, and I'm like, oh so wow, exciting. They like my baby. Because like when it comes to a product, you can think your baby cute,
right?
Like, we all think our baby's cute, but if everybody's saying your baby ugly,
right,
baby might be a little ugly. So like to see people saying like, oh man, I love these shoes, they're comfortable, I'm throwing out my Nikes. I was like, oh wow, we got something. And so
that's big.
That was like that moment. Then Champs too, like being there, I had a whole bunch of people there. We had a lot of media, even though I was like dog tired. I was like, wow, like what the fuck, we
right, we up.
I'm cussing so much. I'm sorry.
That's
when
okay.
I'm tired,
yes, I've never heard her cuss this much. So
when I'm tired, I be cussing, y'all.
I never heard her cuss this much, so she wasn't really tired.
But yeah, like
that's huge. And so with that being said, is it like now, is it kind of the floodgates are open? There's a lot more opportunities because of that?
Yeah, man. It's a lot more opportunities, but it's also more work. So it's like it's a bittersweet thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like because of that, we definitely have so much more coming, so much more in store. And we're excited. We're ready.
Yeah. So. Okay, so then with that being said, is it like you go full throttle with the shoes now? Or is it like, because I was around you when you were speaking of your injury that you just had, the ACL tear, partial tear, then tear. Like, in those moments, you were extremely discouraged, kind of like you already like expressed. Is football in your future? Or is it like, okay, I'm officially businesswoman, shoe line Santia? Like, what? Where's your headspace at with that?
Honestly, I go back and forth with that every day. I know for sure, and I've said this too, so it's not like a surprise. I'm not going back to tackle football at all. I'm gonna just leave that there. I probably will, not probably, I am still gonna play flag football because it's now it's now an Olympic sport. So they just got, officially sanctioned as that.
That's exciting.
So I'm excited. So that's my goal, to make it to the Olympics with rugby. But tackle football, no.
That's it.
It's dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
Super dead. Yeah.
Really? There's no way.
I would like the only thing that I think about when it comes to contact sport is rugby.
Okay.
I still might try to see what I can do with that, but football, it's a lot that I could say that I'm not gonna say, but yeah.
It is what it is now at this point, and you've been able to kind of make a name for yourself. The one thing I do like about you, in kind of like piggybacking off of what you're saying about tackle football versus not, and just the different aspects of who you are and the different dynamics of who you are. You obviously have, your sneaker line, but right now you're wearing heels.
Yeah.
So there's like so many different sides to you. There's feminine, sexy Santia, and then there's of course tomboy, sneakerhead, football Santia.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the response? Because obviously, clearly, I'm looking at you, and most people with eyes can see that you're beautiful. How have you been able to navigate that part, the physical aspects, and the reception towards your beauty?
I would just say like I was an extreme tomboy when I was young. I mean, like I said, I grew up with brothers. But I was also like boy crazy when I was younger too,
Really?
which was like a super interesting dynamic because it's like.
Were you NSYNC or Backstreet?
Which one was I? I was both.
I think I was both too.
I think I would say I was more of like a fanatic with NSYNC though. No, what's it? I don't know. Both. I'll just say both.
Okay, what about B2K?
I love B2K.
Who was your person?
Omarion.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Now I can't even remember his name, but the one with the curls. The dark skin one. J Boog.
No,
yeah.
It was J Boog.
J Boog was my guy. Shout out to J Boog. But yeah, okay, so you were super, like, did you have posters though too?
When I tell you, my entire, even the ceiling had posters. Like,
okay, now.
No, I'm not even kidding.
That's like, extreme, for real?
I was boy crazy. But the thing, I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, I was boy crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, like, I understood, like, okay, if I like boys, I can't always be wearing like what my brother's wearing.
Right.
And so like I started getting into like girly clothes, like,
yeah.
But I was also, it was weird because like I also was still like super like I don't like looking super feminine, but it was like I could somehow balance it. I don't know. But as I got older, like I just started falling in love with heels. I fell in love with dresses, makeup, all of that stuff. So, but I kept the other side of me too. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like it just happened.
It's the best of both. It's the best of both worlds.
It just happened. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so what has been like? Okay, worst, like, please don't ever say that to me ever again. Kind of story where it's just like, why do y'all even try? Okay, let me ask it. Let me ask it this way. What'd you say?
You saying pickup line?
Yeah, pickup line, and just like, let me ask it a different. Okay, yeah, worst pickup line, and then I'm gonna ask you a follow up.
The worst pickup. Where do I start? I don't, like, in real life or on social media?
Both, either one.
Okay, I'm gonna say the weirdest.
Okay.
Damn, where did I start with that too? Oh, okay. I would say the one that just immediately comes to my head was this guy. So this guy, he started following my mom, my brother, like my best friend, like all these, like everybody I knew.
Okay.
And I was out of town actually doing, like, playing flag football. And this guy kept saying, like, where, like, I want to meet you in real life. And I never responded, never gave him any play. And so he started DMing my mom and saying, like, hey, I know Santia's out of town in Florida. She's supposed to be meeting up with me to, like, give me something. Can you give me her address? And my mom was like, are you supposed to be meeting so-and-so? I'm like, who? She was like, this guy. Like, he knows that you're in Florida. He knows this. And I'm like, Mom, that dude is crazy.
He did
the same thing to my brother. He did the same thing to my friend. Like, he would message me and say, hey, I'm in Alpharetta. I know you are out here somewhere. And, like, I was like,
that's weird. That is weird.
So I would say that's one of that
is like
top,
bogus.
Top thing that has
okay, so that's obviously a turnoff.
So please don't
do that. Okay.
Don't tell me you come to my location.
So what would be some items that guys will be able to check off as things that you do like?
I do have a boyfriend, but what I will say is, being yourself. Like, and I don't want to feel like there's an agenda when you come to come and talk to me, because I've talked to a lot of guys where it's almost like fangirling almost, and that's a complete like, if I know that you're a fan of me, like, you can like what I do, but if you're like, oh my god, like, I saw your video and I'm just like,
yeah, you can tell in the first couple of seconds.
Because I want to be able to be myself, like, and I want you to love me and care for me and not for Trackbaby or Queen of Abs or whatever. Like, I want to feel like I'm getting the authentic you and you're getting the authentic me, and I don't got to worry about, like, oh, is this person trying to get clout, or this person trying to use me for this or for that. And like, just act like you don't know me. That's the best thing I can say. Please, because if you say, oh, actually, I'm gonna be like, oh, I ain't got nothing else to say. That's no.
I love that. Yeah. Well, okay, so what has been the hardest lesson for you to learn in terms of love? Yeah,
your type might be why you single. Yeah, if I'm being honest, and it's not like, it's just what it is. Like, I'm an athlete, so I normally date athletes. No offense to athletes, but they are some of the worst humans when it comes to dating. I'm just be honest, because, like, you always have to compete with their ego. Like, that never dies. They can be retired for 20 years.
Yeah.
There's, in their mind, there's still that guy that got all those touchdowns, that won the Super Bowl, that done this thing. So, like, you always have to compete. And when they feel like you're starting to shine too much, or you're doing, like, they're like, oh, nah, like, I just want you in the house. Like, I literally dated somebody that didn't want me to do anything but be in the house.
Wow, they wanted you to be domestic, Santia.
And that's not happening.
So okay, so then the lesson is you to be open to falling in love with somebody who's not your type.
Yes. And I'm not even talking about physically, but just like, what, that too.
Everything.
Because I'm going to be honest. I'm going to describe what my type was a year ago.
Okay.
Athletic, at least 6'4".
At least
6'4". God-fearing, traveled a lot already, educated. So I had all these things that I'm just like, bruh, like, unless I'm going to find a Russell Wilson or something, it's just not going to happen. And not to say that all athletes are bad, because they're not. I met some really amazing athletes too, but I just realized, like, I need to make sure that I'm getting the core things that I need, and not just, like, all these physical things that eventually is going to fade, or I could be talking to you. You're just good to look at, if I'm being honest. Like, it's good to have on your arm. Like,
right, good eye candy.
Yeah, and yeah.
Wow.
So
wait, okay, so then would that be, is that lowering your standards, or what is that?
I used to think that, but to me, if you can still get someone that you're super attracted to, but they have, like, they're family oriented, they're God-fearing, they're patient, they're kind, you know, they're ambitious, like, they just might not be a professional athlete, or they might not be, like, making $25 million a year, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they're still exactly what you want. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah,
it's like exactly what you want, but didn't know that that's what you wanted, kind of thing.
Exactly, because, like I said, like, I don't want to talk about my boyfriend, because I feel like I'm gonna cry. But he is the most amazing human being I've ever met. He's not an athlete. He's actually, like, in tech. He's different. He's different from what I've ever dated, but I've never experienced the type of, like, love and patience and kindness and, like, no hidden agenda. He didn't know who I was when I met him. Yeah. But he's not what I dated in the past. But he's, like, showed me a whole new way. Like, he's healed me from, like, my past trauma. Yeah. Like, and I never thought that was possible. So, yeah. You just gotta be open.
I feel the same. My husband, sometimes, and I'm like, I go back and forth. Because my husband's really stellar. It's like, he's just stellar. Yes, yes. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, sometimes I almost feel like I don't deserve you. Yeah. Do you feel like that sometimes?
Exactly. Because I'm like, how did this
And it makes
happen?
me emotional too, because I'm just like, God, I wish I'm not as good of a person as you are. Man. It's just like, how can you be so good? Like, how can you be so good to me? Like, I just don't have the same capacity. Oh, I'm gonna cry
trust
too.
Me, I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying, because my boy, like, he wants to save the world. Yeah. Like, he wants to save the world, like, and what he's doing is actually helping the world. And I'm just like, what? Like, where did you? Now, I just like,
Yeah.
how did you get here? But I ain't trying to cry, y'all. But I used to always write these dear husband posts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen those that I used to write? Probably not. I don't know how long you've been following me, but I've been writing dear husband posts since like I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and everything I wrote, he is. Like, I remember trying to manifest him. Like, I would literally sit there in bed and in my car, and I would like literally envision how he would look, how he would walk, his energy, his aura.
Wow.
And when I met him, and I met him on a dating site too. Okay.
Hey.
So when I met
Shout
him,
out to Black Planet.
but you know what? Black Planet prepared me. So, anyways, but our first real date, I was like, your energy is calming. And I never said that before. And ever since then, like, it's just been up and up and up. And, like,
Wow.
it's just like, oof, when I tell you, if we get married, my wedding vow is going to be crazy.
Wow.
That's all I can say. Because, anyways, I ain't going to get too deep into that. But, yeah.
I love that.
Amazing.
Well, I love love. Yeah. And I love surprising love. Where it's just like, oh, my gosh, who are you? Like,
yes, like
where did you come from? I think that's beautiful. When we think about where we come from, we also think about where we're going. I'm so excited for where you're going.
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much, too, for coming on the show and talking to us and telling us a little bit about your story. If you were to kind of give a little tidbit to anybody who loves Santia Trackbaby, or who loves Santia the football player, who loves Santia the businesswoman, what words of encouragement would you give to someone who maybe is trying to find their way out like you've been able to do?
I would say if you want it, go get it. That's something I had to learn in life. That's the story of my life, because if I would have given up at any point during those trials and tribulations, I wouldn't be here. And really, really understand, if you're a spiritual person, that what's for you is for you. Like, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter what you lose, what doors close. God has something for you, and it's going to blow your mind. Literally going to blow your mind, and, you know, just keep going.
I love that. And I would be remiss if we didn't have this actual aspect in the conversation, because it's such a huge part of how you live life. Can you talk about, when you think about what God has been able to bring you through in your relationship with God?
Cry again.
I know, I would cry too if I had to answer this question. Like, what does God mean to you?
Whew. How do you even answer that, man? That's like asking you, can you explain how your mom loves you?
Right.
Like, I'm gonna cry. Like,
cry.
I don't want to cry.
Cry.
Oh,
I'll cry with you. Don't worry. I'm an easy crier.
I cry so easy. Oh my God. Okay. All I can say is, like, God is literally like my best friend. I mean, He has taken me to heights that I never imagined. I didn't think I was deserving. I didn't think I was worthy. He's allowed me to skip processes that normally might take people years or lifetimes to experience or to achieve, and I've been able to do that in many, many ways. He allowed me to be broken so that He could put me back together in ways that I didn't think was possible for me. He had to break me in order for me to find out what truly loving myself was, what being loved was truly supposed to look like. He broke me in ways to make me feel like, to allow me to experience like poverty and not ever wanting to feel that again, so that I could get to the point to where I'm at now and actually enjoy and appreciate the things that I have now. He allowed me to be very wealthy and to be very poor, so that I never can get too, high. I can never feel like I'm better or, whatever. But He also allowed me to realize, like, okay, this is where you can be and this is where you will be if you ever lose sight of me and what I've done for you. So, like, He's really just, honestly, He's humbled me. He's humbled me in so many ways to where, like, I just honestly feel like I can't lose, because I understand, like, it's not me. And I feel like once you understand that and realize, like, it's really not you and who you're doing it for and what the purpose is for, all of this thing, like, this is great. I'm going to be real. Yeah. This shoe company is great. The football opportunity was great. The things that, materialistic things that I have is great. The achievements that I have is great. But ultimately, my ultimate goal in life is to make it to salvation. Like, I want to make it to those pearly gates. So whatever I got to do to get there, about to sell everything, give everything away. It is what it is. But my loyalty is to Him. So whatever that looks like, that's where I'm going. And I feel like when you have that mindset, you can't lose.
That's good. That's good. So you made it through it.
Child, that was hard.
You made it through it. Okay, speaking of to where you're going, what's the phrase you said y'all say out there in Houston?
Hold it down.
Hold it down. So no matter where you go in life, Santia, hold it down.
Thank you.
Okay?
Oh my God.
And that's it. We out, y'all. Hold it down.